I was just sitting there chilling and whatever. This young lady come trying to talk to me, man. Give it to me, you know.
I'll lift your crates.
Yeah.
And how did you guys meet?
Okay, well, I always like to say I do the book version and he does the movie version. So, but I don't know if ours is as exciting because we met at BP gas station. But it was Cinco de Mayo, and I left out to...
We need something like theme music playing in the background.
This is a true story. It's true. I can't make this up. But I was literally on EEE. Like, I couldn't go... past my block without my car shutting off. That's how much gas I didn't have. And
Watch how I bossed up.
I'm ready for this part.
That's the good part.
Okay, y'all ready? All right.
Saucy.
So I was like, I'm not going back out tonight. I'll get gas in the morning. I'm not worried about it. But it was fight night. Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather. So I had actually got invited out to a fight party. And so I'm like, man, it's 1 something in the morning. I've got to go get gas, but everybody's out, so let me go to the gas station. Went to the gas station. For some reason, my card was not working at the pump. I had money in my account, but it was not working. And so, on my way walking up to the inside of the store, this guy pulls up that he was sitting off to the side in a black Impala with tinted windows. Mind you, it's 1 something in the morning. And I see the door open. I'm like, oh, my God.
I was playing old school, right?
And so he slowly gets out like he's in some Shaft movie, okay? And then
the wind was blowing and everything.
Right. He walks up to me, and at that point in time, I'm like,
I gave you 3 feet, no check.
right.
Because you couldn't be a creep.
Right.
Exactly. I feel
So
you.
let me tell you what he did. This is the good part. He put both of his hands up like, I come in peace. And so when he did that, I was like, okay. And then I looked a little second longer. I said, oh, he's kind of cute. So we went into the gas station, and he filled my gas tank up. Wow. And so we went back to the pump, almost like he had to take out insurance to make sure I was filling the pump up. He stood there the whole time talking to me. And I'm like, hey, it's
3
late.
3 feet, no check, remember.
It's late. We don't know each other. Let's just exchange numbers. And we exchanged numbers, and we've been talking ever since.
Wow, that is amazing. So I'm assuming that Mr. Robinson, you had proposed to her. So at where in the relationship you realized okay, she's like the one. I'm ready to make that lifelong commitment.
Day one, I'll answer.
So I got to set it up because I was a pretty popular dude growing up and everything, and I wasn't necessarily. I was just kind of living, and then I had just gotten out of a relationship. Okay. I was married, and it didn't work out. Okay. And I was going through the pains of that. Like, man, I was trying to get everything together, do it right. What happened? Mm-hmm. And so, true to God story. What happened was, as I got to know her more and more every day, some of the pieces that were shattered. Mm-hmm. Okay. She helped me to put them back in place. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, I tried to keep my distance. We were cool, hanging out, doing everything together. I'm trying, I'm going to stay on the couch. She's like, oh, come on, you come in the room and let's watch TV or whatever. I'm like, I'm okay because, honestly, because I'm like
movie version.
Right. I'm like, hey, I'm saying to myself, like, she's a great girl. I don't want to, because I'm, I ain't got myself together. Right. She stood by me, and then next thing I know, we were together for, we were doing everything together. When we wasn't at my house, we were at her house.
I want a copy of this podcast, brother.
Right. We got you. Don't got you. It'll be ready tomorrow. We got you. Right. We got you.
I want the video, too.
And so, it was like, you just knew it. And I'm like, well, I never knew it like that before. The times I thought I knew, I didn't know. But this time, I really know that I know. And so, from then, we got closer and just, we were best friends, of course, before anything else. We were like the best of friends, and I felt comfortable sharing any and everything with her. And so we were good. So you want to hear about the proposal?
Oh, wait. Let me just add to that because I had a when I knew moment, but it wasn't, I knew, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. And this was, so we met that night, And then the next day, I was at my mother's house, and I remember we lived down the street from each other at the time. And so I remember coming back from her house, and I was coming around the bend into my driveway, and I heard a voice, as clear as day, say, "That's your husband." I was like, "Who said that?"
Oh, I love it.
I actually laughed because I said, "I don't even know this guy," but I heard a voice say that's your husband. And I had been, right before I met him, I had been praying about it. I was tired of the dating life. In fact, I told some people at work that I wanted to be married within the next year and a half. And they laughed at me like, yeah, sure, Aisha, whatever, you, okay. But I prayed. I started reading Corinthians, Proverbs, everything. And I actually put a prayer in the Bible. And at first I had this list of he has to be this, that, and that. And then I went back to that list and I ripped it up and I said, you know what, God, who you see fit for me, because I haven't been doing a good job thus so far, obviously. So I changed that list, and sure enough, shortly after that, I met him, and like I said, I heard that voice that day, and no matter what we went through, it was something about him. I just couldn't part from him. So
and she put one thing on the list, but I ended up being more than everything she had in her previous list.
Now, let me jump in for a second. We normally got a segment called Talk Yo Ish, but that's at the end of the show. You're doing it already. I like that. I like that, though.
Right. And the man.
So I'm going to go over here to the right side of the table. So I'm assuming Larry had proposed to you, or, women proposing nowadays, too. So at what moment in a relationship you felt like, you know what, this is it. I want to lock her in. This is my life partner here.
Well, it really wasn't no proposal. And, nowadays you see a lot of stuff going on. And you see how, couples get together and they could probably, most of the time the male probably could prolong the engagement. And the reality is it don't take long. I mean, I'm not saying jump into nothing after maybe 5 or 6 months. But I would say within that first year, you got some type of idea.
Okay.
So even though, we was together 3 years before we got married, but being that, that I came up in church, and just as well my wife came up in church, we knew better, so we had actually got a place after being together for 3 years, and we talked about it. We was like, you know what, we need to go down here and get married. And like I said, it wasn't nothing fancy, but we sitting here right now, so like I say, it's it don't always have to be nothing. It don't always have to be nothing fancy.
Right.
But like I said, you just know, and after being with my wife, after those 3 years and seeing the type of person she was and how she handled herself and how she carried herself and taking her around my family and, even getting her approval, I knew. So that's pretty much how it was.
I got a moment.
Okay, talk to us.
Go ahead.
I got a moment. So when I got with my husband, when we first got together, like I said, we was friends first. We helped each other through our breakups, and we got real cool. So it was really just a legit friendship. But when I broke up, I was in a long-term relationship, a horrible relationship. And when I broke up with that person, I was ready to, just live my life. It was like hot girl summer. It's about to be on, right? So me and my husband, we started talking, but hold on, don't judge me. I'm not going to lie. I was like, man, I'm just ready to get something new. So I'm with my husband. I'm just like, okay, let's see what this is about over here. My husband's like, nah, if me and you date, it's going to be me and you. It ain't going to be dating nobody else. I'm like, okay. That's cool. So when I got to know my husband, like, he was like something different. Like, I was used to be intimidated by older guys. My husband a little older than me. But when I got with him, I was like, okay. I remember we went, he came over one time, and we was playing Aaliyah, 1 in a Million. And my husband's like, come on, let's dance. I was like, oh, this is it right here. And then when I found out he can cook, he can make salmon patties, I was like, this is I'm keeping him. I'm locking this down. So this was it right here.
Shout out to salmon patties, man.
No doubt.
My grandma was the only one I really knew. My mom said she cooked, but I really knew my grandma to cook them. But my husband to cook salmon patties, and they was fire. I said, oh, yeah, I love this man right here. So
That's cool. So now when people found out that you guys were getting married, did you get like some pushback, like, oh, dog, you really gonna do that? Or like, girl, you think you ready for that? Or like, was people like hitting you up like, oh, you just gonna do this to me? Or, little stuff like that?
I'll be honest, it wasn't pushback because we kind of kept it on the low.
Okay.
The reason we kept it on the low, because of course you had, we gonna just get married, but then we gonna have a little reception. You know, we had those plans, but when we found out that wasn't happening, we just like, man, we might as well tell people. So I think more people was upset that it was like, why you ain't tell us? We could have went with you and this and that, but I mean, it went the way it was supposed to go. It was just me and him, you know. And that's all it took. About. It's nice, me and him in this marriage, so it won't take nobody else to be there. So.
Right. So did you get any reactions from any females or any, like, your boys or anything like
females?
that?
You trying to start something?
I'm just asking, because, I'm just saying because, like, and I'm just being real. Sometimes people can be bitter, and they find out you moving on and you trying to do something with your life, and then they're like, oh, you just gonna do this, you just gonna do that, or whatever like that. So that's why I'm asking the question, because people say and do things.
No, I didn't receive no pushback from nobody. My family kind of small.
Okay.
It's mainly just my grandparents, they gone. One of my grandmothers still living. Then I got my father, little brother, little sister, older brother. So we kind of tight knit.
Okay.
So I didn't really receive no pushback.
Okay.
Now it was I pretty much got love from everybody.
That's good. So now let's trickle over to the left side of the table. Let's trickle on over here. So same thing. Like, did you guys get any, like, when people found out you was about to get married or tied a knot? Did you get any resistance?
Wait a minute.
Relatives like hating or
we had
old flames?
A similar story as far as us just doing the thing. When we got married, it was just me, him, a good friend of his, and a good friend of mine, and we didn't tell anybody at first. Mm-hmm. And so I think a couple of months later, we ended up telling everybody, and people were disappointed and hurt. Yeah, right. I was doing the nice version, but they were pissed because they were like, wait a minute, it's you. My mother's like my youngest daughter, and then, everybody's like my brother, and you didn't tell us about it, but we just wanted it to be about us. Mm-hmm. And so, and that's what we did. And, like I said, 11 plus years later, we're still here together. And the same thing, we were going to plan for the reception and the big wedding thing, but a couple of months after we got married, my father actually passed away from suicide, actually. And so that just pretty much, that ended everything, and we just kept it as is. But, yeah, we were kind of, it was private.
A lot of healing, so.
Yep.
Okay. So don't sleep on those courthouse marriages.
I'm trying to tell you.
Because at the end of the day, one of the concerns that we had was that our marriage was for us and not necessarily for everybody. And so we did want to share with everybody, but we wanted to share in our way. Right. And it was more about the love and us being fulfilled with each other than it was about going broke.
Absolutely.
We was broke too. Let me put that out there. We was
Let's
broke.
go.
So when we got married, I was in hygiene school. My husband was the only one holding it down. Bless his heart, he was holding it down. So we didn't have no money. So our rings probably was together, $35? And I probably replaced mine a couple of times with some Walmart rings. I ain't gonna even lie. But God is good because we upgraded this last year.
Amen.
Bling, bling.
So, that was part of the problem. We ain't had no money, but we knew. But I'm going to tell you this. When we got married, God blessed us. Oh, Lord, me and my husband got some stories where God came through and blessed our marriage financially. So we knew we was doing the right thing. And I always tell people, I say, love, I feel like you don't have to have it all together when you marry. You know what I'm saying? Because when you love each other, you got that strong foundation and y'all really in love and y'all willing to stick it out through the hard times, it's going to work out. Trust me.
Y'all going to build it together.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Preach on, sister.
Y'all
preach on.
I'm trying to tell these people, y'all better get married. Stop messing with them.
You know what? I got to say, because you just reminded me of something.
Uh-huh.
Now, something I would say that's kind of funny, and I'm sure with you guys, you've heard it. There's always somebody that that's not married that tell you why marriage ain't worth nothing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Those people.
Yeah, you got those type of people out there. And, I tell people all the time, it's not the wedding, it's the marriage.
Absolutely.
People, and I'm not knocking it. You do what you want. If you're able to afford an expensive wedding, then fine, go ahead and do it.
Absolutely.
But, a lot of times you find people going that route and the marriage don't even last.
Or they say, oh, it ain't nothing but a piece of paper, but you've been engaged for like the last 17, 18 years. You got 7 kids and
right. And does it offend anybody here? Like when people are like been together for like 10 years and call somebody their husband, but they not like legally not their husband. Do you guys get offended when people claim that they're married and they're not?
Not really, because that's their business. They got to.
Right. I don't get offended. I just think when people say it's a piece of paper, I think they don't have that type of they don't have no that type faith. Of spiritual faith in their marriage. You know, marriages. You can't stay married without God.
Absolutely.
You know,
without work.
Amen.
You know, you got to put in work.
Right, and you got to put in work. You know, so you definitely got to have God. And I think that's why a lot of people they say, well, it's just a piece of paper, because you got to think, you know, people coming up different these days. Absolutely. You know, and everybody not brought up the way we was brought up, and I'm not knocking it if you don't. You know, but in my house we got that understanding. Like, hey, God got to be the center of our marriage.
And if it's just a paper, now why not do it? I don't never understand. If it's just a paper, then just do it. Then you get the benefits and stuff. I mean, there's nothing with that paper. So,
but you know, it's a contractual agreement, and you know, marriage in itself is a business between two entities, being two individuals. So it's an acknowledgement that hey, we are declaring to each other and to anybody else in this world that we are taking this journey together.
Oh, I like that, Isha. Okay.
Oh, you know,
that's poetic. I love you.
Y'all hear the harps playing in the background?
Right.
Little poetic justice over here. She got the braids too.
Now,
that was beautiful.
I've been sitting here kind of quiet for a second. I've been married myself, excuse me, and I've been divorced. And that was my first question. Have you guys, all of you, this your first marriage for all of you guys?
Not mine.
You've been married before?
I've been married before.
I've been married before. But I call it
a learning
test run.
I'm glad. We're going to go there. And that's where I want to go right quick. Like I said, I was at the Reverend Run, Justine Simmons thing, and that was the question I posed to them. They both have been married before, divorced, and married again. So, fellas, ladies, just take your headphones off of this. You only got to just sit back. Don't mess with them. Let them talk. Now, let them talk. Fellas, was there any trepidation, any fear to try to get married again? Was like, you know, because whatever you've been through, I know what I've been through. You know what I'm saying? Was there any type of fear to do it again?
You know what? And that's kind of what I alluded to at first, is that, you know, I tried to keep my distance because I was afraid, because I was like, you know, what I went through, I didn't want to ever feel like that again, because, I mean, it actually hurt, made me question, like, hey, am I a good man, and things like that. And I add this little piece to it. When I was going through what I was going through, one of my friends, he was, you know, probably like, say we would have been an odd couple. You got the police over here, and then you got the person over here. But, you know, we had respect and much love for each other. Mm-hmm. I recall him picking me up. We taking a ride from 2 a.m. until it got light outside, right around Belle Isle, listening to T.D. Jakes. And I'm pouring my heart out. And so, you know, and that moment right there, and this shows you how the boss man upstairs works. This individual, this guy that was with me, he, you know, helped me to realize, like, hey, it ain't you, it's her that's messed up, you know. And so I'm like, oh, cool. And then so when I did start dating my wife, he met her and he kind of was like, yeah, you good now.
Okay.
You know, and that's how that whole thing happened.
What about you, Doc?
Well, I was married a while ago, so I was kind of way past the hurt. Mm-hmm. So I would just say when I met my wife, I was at peace already. Okay. You know, so you know, once I met her and found out who she really was, you know, like I said, I knew she was the one. You know, so I didn't really have no baggage. Not saying that's what was going on with you, but I didn't have no type of baggage or nothing that I was bringing into the relationship.
Okay.
But I just want to add one other part too. Mm-hmm. What I did learn from that marriage is that it prepared me for being a better husband. And so mistakes that I did make, you know, and not saying there was anything like that caused me, because I was the victim. I like to say the victim.
Me too.
Of infidelity. But all the other things, you know, sitting back looking at some of the things that I could have done better myself, I made sure that, being with my wife now, that, all those, mishaps were addressed and that I didn't bring those types of things or I dealt with them, in a proper manner.
That's a good point because, like I said, I was married myself before and divorced, and that was one of my things, like knowing that I was ready again and tried it again, like you just said. But it also, like you said earlier, back in the day, and my partner could say this, I used to be kind of wild, just a little bit, not bad.
Still is.
Watch them off, girlfriend. I love you, but if my girlfriend's watching, I love you to death. Don't pay attention to her.
Hey, Christina.
Don't say her name on the show. This is business. But I say that to say, even though I kind of felt the same way about a lot of the stuff, I was a good dude, and I talked to the Lord about a lot of things. But even though it didn't play out, and I do think, the past person did a lot of things evil, it made me know that I could be married. Because prior to that, sitting there watching a show with your girl every week was like, man, what? You know what I'm saying? Now it's, I'm mad at her because why you not here? How to Get Away with Murder is about to come on in 5 minutes. You need to be home so we can watch it. Little things like that, I realized it went from thinking I'm going to just be wild, hanging with the homies, to wanting to be with somebody that knows me. So kudos to y'all fellas for actually speaking that up.
One thing I just want to kind of ask everybody, I guess, and we talk about it a lot, me and some of our other married friends, is when we do have the, I guess I'll say, a luxury of going out and looking at the dating scenes nowadays. Man, I'd be so terrified to try and date right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God.
With all the things they got, the social media,
that video
man,
chat. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like, these people, it's like nowadays the women have to chase the guys. I don't know what it is, but it's like guys not into asking women out and stuff like that. It's like the women doing it. They so.
Hey, some of them scared of them too.
We run I don't know if Lakeisha told us, but we run a Facebook group called Singles Dating Detroit. Now, Lakeisha, what do you think about what she's saying about how people feel about that?
It's more so the women, because like the women, like we are here, we are ready, we kind of try to show you guys what kind of potential that we have, but it's like on the flip side, the guys are just like, some, not all of them, because there is some good dudes out there. I get the good dudes that or whatever, but they not really all together. They not sure what they want, and they're not honest. And that's my whole thing. It's like when you're dating, be honest in the beginning on what your intentions are. If you just dating the hookup and just one night thing, whatever like that, okay, say that. Don't have me thinking your goal is to be with somebody, and it's not, because now you done took my choice away.
That's been your thing.
So
that's been your
I say
thing
that
for like
pretty
the last
much every
3 weeks.
show. I'm just serious, and I get that government name. I'm getting the name. I'm getting the birthday. I'm going to Michigan.gov/Otis. I'm running it. I'm going to VineLink. I'm running it because I don't need no crazies or no felons or whatever around me and my kid. Because when I'm dating for my child too.
Oh, and that's a scary thing right there.
Yeah,
you said
it
with
is.
The kids. Like I told my husband, this it. Man, I can't bring no other man around my kids. So we go.
But like y'all both said,
death do us part. Look, that's what this
but like all you guys said, you're right, because I actually had a Lyft passenger the other day. The young man was 30 years old. Him and his wife been married for 7 years. They've been high school sweethearts. And he was talking about, I don't know, man. I can't take it. She tripping. I'm like, Brody, trust me. Go to counseling. I mean, there's nothing out here, dog. You've been with that woman for, I don't know what he did, but seriously, that's been you. So even if you dabbled, whatever, not saying it's right or wrong, but you didn't know the person. You know this person.
Right.
You're going to go back out here, like this man said, and start dating. And you're going to be like, man, this world is weird. I know what happened to me.
Yeah.
When I first got divorced, I said, I'm going to go out here and I'm a clown. And I was like, my best friend was like, my other best friend, shout out to Nika, my godson's mother. She was like, you can't do this. You're not built for this anymore. I'm like, what? I'm whipped dog. She's like, no, trust me. Went out there and it was a whole nother game. And I wasn't built for it.
It's very intimidating.
Yes.
It is.
But, go ahead.
Oh,
I got
okay.
another question, but I'm going to let you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, okay. Now go ahead with your question.
Nah, we can't have the show all happy and smiling. We got to start some trouble in here. We got to start some trouble in here.
I knew I should have had that shot.
Now, you talked about how a lot of people in the world now feel how they feel about marriage, being together. It's just a paper. A lot of people now, because they want to have their own friendships, families, whatever they want to call it, they want to do this polygamy thing. She started laughing already.
I knew that was
What do y'all think about how people now they call it alternative lifestyle. Half won't get married unless they poly now. What do y'all think about the poly lifestyle and people that think like that?
Well,
Jump on it.
My thought about it is this: marriage for each couple is what that couple makes it to be.
Amen.
And you have a lot of people that are turned off about marriage because they think it's a one size fit all. And I liken it to when you buy a house. When you buy a house, you decide what drapes you want in there, what carpet you want in there, what cereal you want in the refrigerator. Same thing with a marriage. So, hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
I would say this. I always, try to keep an open mind and not judge people but it's not my cup of tea. I'm not into that. But I say to each his own. But that's not what my ideal of marriage is. I don't know. I just don't see that's just really a get out of jail free card. It's like we married, but we can do whatever we want to. I mean, what fun is it having, your pick of wives to sleep with? I mean, hey, wait a minute. And then can a women? Is it just the man that get to have?
All right, so it's time to go to the next question. We talking about the fellas right now.
It's always one-sided. You know what I'm saying? It's always one-sided. It's always one-sided.
Actually,
it seems like it's built for the man.
well, actually,
to get
though-
And then let me tell you this story. Hold on. He had put me in a polygamy group, right? And was like, I just want you to see the conversations and stuff they be having or whatever, right? So as I'm sitting back, and it was so many women like, oh, I'm looking for a king who also wants another queen and this, and oh, I'm a woman looking for, this, that. And I'm sitting there, and I posed the question. I said, what about if I want two kings? And my comments went ham. They was just going at me like, no, I'm an alpha male. That ain't supposed to happen. No, all this other stuff. And they kicked me out. They kicked me
will
out.
say this, though.
And I'm like, oh, for real? You know what I'm saying?
man who
But
wanna
we
have
want to
that
deal
cake.
with,
But I will
right,
say
right.
this.
You know what
The
I'm
only
saying?
now on that, I feel you. But the only reason they kicked you out because you were no, seriously, she was in the polygamy group. Like there's a polyandry. Like there is a form where the woman has two husbands, and that's and the reason they do.
That's still polygamy.
Well, yeah, but like,
Or and that's,
polyandry and
there's polyamory.
polyamory and
Polygamy is marriage.
Right.
Polyamory just means multiple relationships.
and
Then I don't know what the other one is.
Dang,
you're
I
going
know a
for.
lot on this information.
I don't know nothing about none
I
of
was
this.
gonna
But
say if you need friends for a show, I've got a few.
but they actually like I actually have a homeboy, and that's what he has a girl and she has two of them.
Wow.
I have a homegirl. When she meets a guy, she says she has to have two. That's her thing.
Two guys?
Yes, but her reason isn't just a
God.
sexual thing.
Okay.
It's kind of the flip side on that. Is that if you meet a guy and he can't take care of the household, but you love him on level A, and you love the other guy on level B, the same thing.
So that guy take care of another man.
No, they both take care of her.
Oh, wow.
No, smile too much.
Nah,
My
I'm
man
not
right here. Okay, there you go.
Good over here.
But real talk.
We're not responsible for the actions that happens after the show.
Praying for you.
But on that note, I think my partner want to take it to the marriage talk game show.
Yes. So we're gonna have a little fun here. Kind of gotta do like the little newlywed type thing. So I'm gonna give everybody a set of cards, and I'm gonna just ask 5 questions. And if it's your husband or if it's you fellas, hold up the blue one. And if it's the wife or if it's you ladies, hold up the pink one.
Nah, am I keeping the score, Dave?
You're keeping the score. So if like both of you hold up the blue one, then that's a point. Okay, so I'm gonna ask 5 questions, and then the winner gets a prize.
Can I get 2 blue cards, please?
Okay, so first question. Who said I love you first?
Oh, that's been so long time. Okay, I looked at his.
I said it.
You got to divide us up or something? So how does the score work? They both get?
Yes, they both get a point.
Okay, they both got 1. Okay.
Okay. So cards down.
Okay.
I'm like, he yelled at me. Does that count? I love you. Okay.
You better love me back.
Woman.
Okay, so who takes the longest to get dressed? Okay, so so that's another point.
Can we clarify that?
Go ahead.
Like from not just putting on your clothes, but like getting the hair and the
Thank
makeup,
God, right, 'cause I
the
cut my own
shoes,
hair.
seeing after going through like 5 pair of shoes, seeing which ones you're gonna wear, all that stuff, right?
Today, but you woke up and started earlier
It
before
don't
me.
matter.
But you were fixing your mustache before we came here, so why you talking?
Look, I ain't never seen my husband's
hey,
hair not cut. His
we here,
line
we
is
here.
always crisp.
I'm about to say, when he came in, I'm like, man.
Ain't going nowhere
Got
unless
that
that.
Steve Harvey over there.
Right. Okay, so no points. So we still tied at 1-1. Okay, so who is the better cook? Okay, so we got 1-1, so that's 2-2. Okay, and this is question number 4.
What about bacon? Give me
You can't change the question.
I thought that was like part 1AB.
Right. Who's the most forgetful? Okay, so that's
Dig
all
that.
right. 3. Okay.
They know each other. That means we got a tie right now.
Right. Okay. So it's a tie. So this is the last question. Then we might have to have like a.
I got a tiebreaker
Okay,
question.
little
I
bonus
need
question. Okay. Who's the best with the budget, finances? Okay. Oh my God, that is so cool.
So the tie was a 4-4.
Yes, 4-4 right now. So
And
we
you
need
see,
a
you see how it was
tiebreaker.
the same answers, women.
Hey, we
And I actually was
make
joking
money.
about having a question, a tiebreaker question.
Take care.
Okay,
I used to be a CFO, so I don't know if
Okay.
that counts.
We need a tiebreaker question. What do you have?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh God, okay, okay.
You do tribute.
When's her birthday? Question is, when's her birthday?
October 21st.
When's his birthday?
April 28th.
When's his birthday?
May 28th.
When's her birthday?
October 2nd.
That was easy.
I did. They might have forgot.
You did make me nervous. I was like, wait a minute, is this a trick?
All right.
I said, wait a minute.
Where did you go for your first date?
We went to the movies to see some movie where they was dying because the plants and stuff was killing them. What's that movie? Y'all know what I'm talking about, where the plants was killing
See,
them.
if you're gonna do if you're gonna do a tiebreaker, you gotta go newlywed game rules.
All right, give me
Here
one.
we go. Here we go.
That's why I need. That's why
I
Dave's here.
have somewhere in here. I got a pen.
Oh, we got to write it
I
down.
got a pen. No,
And it's a pencil right there.
Just the guys.
Oh,
There we go.
man. Come on, baby,
All right.
I believe in you.
And ladies, I'm gonna put you on your honor system. Look that way.
You can do it.
Oh, I got one. I got one.
First thing you noticed about her.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, this all.
Nice, nice
first
question.
thing-
First thing you noticed about her.
Oh,
Write it down. They gotta write it down, right?
babe, I'm sending you
Which
the
card?
message.
Which card?
You answer, babe. You got this. I'm sending it to you. I don't know what he gonna say. I'm gonna
This
get
pen.
wrong.
This pen ain't right.
We got a pencil right there. If we need that. Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna get this wrong. I know because it's so many things.
Almost need the Jeopardy theme song in the background.
Right.
and I got it on my phone. I should have played it.
Hey, get that Uber or Lyft ready. We got a coupon code.
It's just so much he liked about me. I
Just
can't.
say that. That's all.
Okay.
I know.
Is there
All right.
multiple choice?
Tell you what, we'll start over here. What was his answer?
I don't know. I'll say hair.
And what else?
Got it right.
Yes.
I said your beauty and your.
I'm
hair.
gonna say
Aw.
my smile.
Think about a foot lower. He said your boobs.
Well, damn.
Hey, I was gonna say smile, and I was like, I might say.
But that was a 1-2 combo.
I ain't said that go together. Huh?
So maybe it was like
Yeah, baby.
my smile.
Well-
Maybe that's what she meant. My smile.
I think we have a winner.
Yes, so congratulations to the Studders, and you get a gift card for a night out to Roof Chris.
What? We ain't never been.
And then for our runner-ups, we have a gift card for a night in DoorDash.
All right. That's what I'm
So you
talking
don't
about.
come and you eat talk without getting gifts, man. We take care of y'all.
Right, and if anybody wants to call in, the phone number is 248-579-5260.
They can ask questions.
Yeah, they got questions.
But before they ask a question, can I ask a question real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
So when we first came in here, y'all said Henry's. Y'all were doing something
Place.
at Henry's?
Yeah,
Oh,
Henry's Place in
Okay.
Okamus.
Okay. And then you threw out hammers. Can you please tell people what hammers are? Because I get dogged out when I use words like that.
Yeah, I thought that was
I
an ugly
get
word.
dogged out.
I'm like, what's a hammer? This is
Hammers
ugly.
I thought it was a
are
shark.
bad chicks. They them cold ones, them things, them what up dolls, them hot girls. You understand what I'm talking about?
They cute.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, that's old school. Right?
Yeah, man. Sometimes we throw the terminologies in there.
Like hammer.
Hammers. I was wondering. I was like, is that a? I don't know. I thought that was a tip drill.
Look,
Yeah.
he has
He said it was a
footnotes,
tip.
and it says, "Please explain" on the bottom of his foot.
Yeah. Hey, that was important.
Very thorough.
You know,
Yeah.
these millennials. Yeah, so I get yelled at all the time because the way I talk, they laugh at me. I'm like, what? I was the man back in the
Dig it, son.
back in the 80s. I was the man.
I just look cap. Like I had to,
Find out what it meant.
on Facebook. Like, what does cap mean?
I think your brother came and told us that time what it
Yeah,
meant.
my nephew too. I'm like, oh, but I start using it all the time. I liked it though, but that other stuff,
Now let me ask you this. Now, being married, do you guys like to hang out with other married couples or
Oh,
what
I
about
love it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
I love
Yes.
hanging
Yes.
out with other
Where that
people.
bell at?
Yeah. It's like you feed off each other energy. It's like it's just so fun. Like, you know, I don't know. It's just good, you know, good vibes when you with somebody who like.
Have you ever hung out with a couple that didn't really see eye to eye and they killed
That's
the whole movie?
awkward.
Not really.
It's like
That's awkward.
And like, look, we go on cruises, right? So I mean, not cruises, but we try to get together a couple trip or whatever every year with our people. So I mean, everybody go through their couple stuff, but you know, you come back together. I mean, if you saying that, like, have people ever argued or something? What you mean?
Like in front of y'all, like if it's five couples and one of them about
or
to
they really wasn't
throw the
like.
kitchen sink at her.
Yeah, but we family. I mean, we all family.
That
so,
happened
you know,
to us
that's
one
real.
time. We went out to eat, and this was like our first time all of us getting together. And then they started arguing before the appetizer even came, and they were like, "So what do you guys think?"
It was polite. It wasn't like messy or anything like that though, but it was awkward. But like you guys said, we all family.
Now we did with family though, so we ain't never
family,
met
so.
some friend. You know, it be family members, so it's like, oh, y'all be cool again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we done argue with family members. I mean, that's part of
Now,
it.
I might have missed it earlier, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But how old are you guys? First of
I'm
all,
36.
I'm 44.
36,
40, 46.
40.
he remember your birthday, but he don't remember how old he is. What's that all about,
I
dog?
ain't mad at him because I forget too.
Let me tell you, I only knew because I know Tiffany and I are the same age, birthday in the same month. We never know how old each other is because I always go,
It's
"How
all
old
about
are you?"
everybody else.
And then he goes,
Yeah.
"How old are you?"
That is true.
And so
that's
that's
true. I forget I just was on point this time.
So-
I forget to-
So
Now, what would you guys tell a younger couple? Let's say you a couple's 21, 22. They in love, but they going through things. What would y'all tell them
What did I
about?
tell that couple, the person yesterday? Was that the other day?
I know you
they
talk
said
a
they
lot.
were-
What did
they
you
were
say?
getting married.
What you say?
So you know, with young people, when they're, hey, I'm getting married. You're like 20 years old. I tell them to, just slow down. Make sure that that's the one, because I know a lot of times people go out there and you jump on the first thing, and like you said, you don't really know each other. You get to know each other, and then you realize that all the things I was looking for in somebody, this person is absent of many of them. And then you find some other people over there, and now you start straying and stuff like that. And so to prevent that from happening, definitely always the be honest thing. I love that part.
Yes.
Tell somebody,
yeah,
give them an
that's really
opportunity
important part,
to say yes or no to whatever you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do.
Right.
But definitely take your time, be upfront and honest with each other, and don't just jump into something just to jump into something.
And to add to that, I would say make sure that it's not infatuation. That is actually love.
yeah.
And that you're friends first, because there will be times in the marriage that you just can't stand each other. You're like, I hate you this year. And so,
Can you bring me some Kool-Aid?
no. But that's
Right.
what saves you, is that you're friends. So we might not be in love with each other at the moment, but we have love for each other and we have respect for each other. And if you're friends, you're always going to communicate. We have a couple of things that we do. We sometimes we can't talk verbally to each other because we might want to pull out the butter knives and the plastic knife, but we don't do that. But we text each other.
Or email.
Oh, I was gonna. You ruined it. But we text each other these long dialogues, but if it's really, really serious, we will get an email from one or the other, like about 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you get an email, it's like you know that is big time right there. Let's slow it down a little bit, because a lot of times in relationships, you have to detonate the love bombs. That's what I call them, love bombs. And those are those explosive arguments, your views, your actions. And a lot of times and what I mean by that, each love bomb you have, you got to start detonating it as soon as it happens. Don't leave them in the field, because before you know it, it's easier to detonate one or two. But when you've got a whole minefield, it can be anything, and it'll just blow up the whole relationship.
Somebody gonna lose a leg.
My husband,
Right.
it's so funny you said it, because my husband get on me about that all the time. Like,
Yeah, we can get into it, and then my wife would just bring up like 40 different other things. And I'll be like, wait a minute, hold on. But then I was trying to, then I found myself defending myself about 40 different things that I had no idea she was mad about.
That's called the reverse in Uno.
First of all, let me say this.
But
though.
what I would tell a couple is I agree with Dan. I would tell any young couple to probably take their time and get to know one another, because in these days everybody not raised on love. People don't have no idea what love is, and love is a lot of times going through it, and working through it. And I would also add to that is when you working through your problems, work through them yourself. And keep your family out your business.
Oh,
because
man.
a lot of times
that's the ace of spades right there.
What people fail to understand is this:
that is a true Lord have mercy.
When you and your mate go through something, and you run and tell one of your family members that you might be close to, that family member don't love your mate like you do. So when your mate forgive you, that family member might not even forgive you.
Right.
So definitely keep your business to yourself. Work things out on your own, and then just try to get through the rut.
Give her only 1 spoon of potato salad.
You know what I tell now? This is not so much but what I tell anybody that's seeking to get married, be ready, because of 7 years. When I hear that the 7 years is the hardest time of your marriage, Lord have mercy. There's some truth to that. When me and my husband got married, Lord have mercy, it was like Tom and Jerry. Like, I knew I loved my husband.
It was rough,
I would die for my husband. And people think it's cheating and stuff. It's not always cheating, because we had them issues, but our communication skills was horrible. Like, my husband, this is what we learn to do now. I say, babe, let's stop defending ourselves and hear each other out, because I feel like love is not, love is just compromising. Love is trying to make somebody else happy. Like, I feel like, hey, if I'm working at trying to make my husband happy and he's doing it vice versa, we'd be good. And when we first got married, it wasn't like that. It was kind of like, no, but you do this. No, you do this. Like, man, it was so crazy. Like, but we came so far. Man, I thank God. I'm so proud. We tell stories like, babe, remember we was going off?
And it
veterans.
It was
Right.
bad. It was bad at
it
certain
was times
points
we
in
hate, like
time.
she said. That's real, and that's why marriage is when you love somebody, you gonna be passionate. So with that, it comes all types of emotion.
Okay, we got a call. Hello. Who am I speaking with? This is Lakeisha from UE Talk. Hello? Phone bill not paid? Hello?
Well,
Oh,
bye.
That one.
That
Have a
was
good
the
night.
Haters call.
All right, God wants to block that. That's your baby mama. Like, look.
Oh, God, look at it.
Well, once again, you can call in at 248-579-5260. Real quick, though, another
Or
question. Premarital counseling, yes or no?
Oh, beautiful. I love counseling. I think it's awesome.
Premarital, during,
Oh, sorry.
all of the above.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Individual counseling. You got to work on yourself sometimes.
But you
Yeah.
gotta be careful who you talk to, because you can't go to your mama's pastor all the time and think that it's always great to have somebody neutral. But one of the things I like to try and do is you get things from both sides. Like, you get somebody that maybe think of like for me, the best to make sure I'm doing something is getting something from like maybe a female friend of ours or somebody like. If I talk to her mom or somebody, one of her friends, and tell me something, like, oh, okay, all right, cool, so I could take that, because I know it's going to be, if it's going to be real, and that person is kind of on our side, but not necessarily.
What about friends of the opposite sex that are single? How do y'all feel about that in a married situation?
You talking about, do we have them?
Yes.
No, we don't have those problems. We don't have them.
So y'all keep it.
I'm his everything. He don't need no. I ain't against it, but luckily when me and my husband got together, we didn't have no. Now, I'm not saying I'm jealous where, he didn't have coworkers, what I'm saying, that not really, though. No, I'm lying. Not really. No.
I feel you.
No,
We have friends of the opposite sex.
Okay.
We never stop having friends. It's just our belief that certain things and aspects of your personality that round you out, you don't have to always cut off. Now, if someone is being disrespectful and crossing the line of what a friend is, that's different. But, I mean, you come across people all the time, especially in different lines of work that you do and that we do. So it's difficult to not have friends of the opposite sex. Okay. And it helps keep a balance on things sometimes, too, that when you're talking to a friend, and you be careful about how much detail you go in about things. But you can have general conversations. Let's just say about football, and that friend can say, well, if you look into this team, like he's, this is what a guy likes sometimes, and it will be helpful. Your husband, that's my homeboy. Just be a little quiet when the football come on, or maybe y'all can, just different perspectives. I think it enriches the relationship sometimes.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask a question about
Yeah,
that?
go
So
ahead.
I'm curious. So when the friends that y'all had, look like you should, the friends that y'all had, did y'all have them before y'all got together, or have y'all acquired?
Wait, babe, because you're making it like we don't have like
No, but I'm just saying we don't have like you ain't got no homegirl.
You said no new friends like Drake.
No, but I'm saying like coworkers and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, that's
right? That's probably
different.
what y'all saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you know how you had
Not somebody we met at a bar. Or anything.
Right.
No.
No, I'm talking like, do you have a guy friend that you hang out with without your husband?
I can, yeah.
And so one of the things too is that one thing we always said, and like I said, like I was a victim, but anyway. And so one thing we said, and I realized, because one thing, and you guys will agree with me, all guys, like back in the days, like, yeah, I'm the man, she mine, that's my property, and then, but we forget, like, just as much as we got control over ourselves and our bodies, what we do, same thing with the women. So our promise to each other was that we never embarrass each other and do things like that.
Absolutely.
And if you know that, you know, you could go out and do whatever, as far as not having to, you know, have somebody following you around and seeing what you're doing and stuff like that, and you're comfortable, like, you're not going to want to do anything anyway.
No, you're definitely right about that.
And then when I do talk to, like, some friends of the opposite sex and things like that, one of the things I find myself doing is talking about her. All the time. Nothing ever bad, just always praising her.
I've actually had
putting
to
her
tell
on
him,
the
like, you
pedestal.
don't have to talk about me all the time.
Yes, he do.
One time she came to my job.
Oh, my God.
Like one of the first times she came, and there's a lot of women around. And, you know, one of the things like, why this guy ain't, you know, trying to look at me? Why he not, you know, everybody else in my face, why he not? And, you know, I'm always talking about her. She made her appearance. And
I made my entrance.
I promise. I promise. It was almost as if, you know how Beyonce come out on stage, the fan blowing the hair everywhere, and so
or Tony Braxton.
And so, and when she came out, they all looked at her, and then they all wanted to talk to her, and so, and it's cool because I'm like, yeah, I like that because they know,
because
you know what I mean.
Because you had already been shining her up like that, so they know that's him. That's him, and ain't nothing else to it. That's him.
Yeah, his colleagues were all like family now. To be honest, if he's eating an extra donut, they'll send a picture, snap it to me.
Snitches. Snitches.
Okay.
Like this was not on the call.
Well, guys, we're going to close out in a second, but I just got a comment from one of our group members from our Singles Dating Detroit group. They are married now, and they have a baby.
On the way up.
Yes, Miss Marquinda Lewis and Donald
Hey,
Hook.
Quinny.
She said, talk about us. So, yes, Marquinda, you're watching. We love you. She like, who's he pointing at? That's the cameras. It's like fourth wall thing I'm doing.
Oh,
the fourth wall thing.
Okay.
Yes. With Marquinda, yes, they met in our singles group. They are dating now. We just had a baby shower for them. And they, like I said, they married, they pregnant, and so it shows that it is out here. This black love thing, no matter what anybody's out here saying, black love is a real thing. You dig? They can put all the lies and whatever on TV, all the reality shows where they fight. No, black love is a thing.
Wakanda forever.
You dig? Well, guys, we about to get ready to close out our show. So right now we do a segment. It's called Talk Yo Ish, where you got 60 seconds to talk about whatever you want to as we go around the table
Or
before we
promote
close
whatever
out.
you had going
promote
on.
whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna start. We started left first time. Let's start to the right. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Make sure you floss every day. Please, parents, monitor your kids' brushing. Oh my gosh, I can't say this. Stop letting your kids brush their teeth by themselves when they're only 6 years old. And make sure you go to the dentist. And if your breath stink, okay, please start telling people when they breath smell. That means they got 9 times 10 they got periodontal disease, and they need to go see a dentist.
Oh my God.
Oh, you Doc.
Hey, everybody just be smooth out there.
How can you follow up to that?
Make sure your enamel smooth.
Everybody look out for each other, have respect, and just be righteous.
All right.
Keep black love alive.
Yeah.
Amen. Old school love once again.
Right.
Keish,
Yes.
close them out about what we got coming up in Urban Embodiment, please.
All right, so once again, this Saturday, we are going to Little Caesars Arena. We'll find a bay. We'll be joining up with the Pistons. The Pistons will be playing the Knicks. Tickets are $35. That includes a seat in the game. Post shots on the court. I always mixed up when I say that.
Post-game shots, yeah.
Post-game shots on the court. And a seat to speed date. We're actually sold out of women dater spots, but fellas, if you have $35, go ahead and cash app us. Coming
And you heard the definition of what a hammer is, so now you know if you
Yes.
didn't know.
Hammer slammers.
If you don't know,
Bammers.
now you know.
Mama Bamas. And then February 22nd, we'll be going up to Lansing with Find a Bay Speed Dating at Henry's Place. That's at 4926 Marsh Road in Okemos. Seats for the ladies are $20, and fellas, you actually get a discount. Your spot is $15, and it includes a complimentary drink.
Yes, yes. And also, we got next week coming up right here on UE Talk, the UE's Got Talent. So you can still submit your videos, 30-second clip. If you act, you dance, you sing, you model, whatever you do, send us the video. Well, yeah, twerk too. Send us the video. We'll post it on our Urban Embodiment Facebook and our IG pages. And the one with the most votes by February 6th, which is this Friday, will perform live right here on UE Talk.
The 6th is actually Thursday.
Well, no, wait, because the 8th
Friday is Saturday.
well,
It's the 7th.
They got to turn it in by Friday.
Okay.
You got till Friday to turn it in.
The 7th.
And Friday is your votes.
Yes.
But with that being said, also, we got our singles group, Singles Dating Detroit and Singles Dating Lansing on Facebook. Join them. Y'all can be part of this black love as well.
Yay.
With that being said, I am Deshaun Whipdog Whipple.
And I'm Lakeisha.
And we will see you next week on Urban Embodiment Presents UE Talk.
Good night.